Pretty Good Cheesecake here. So we'll have them introduce themselves when they start dishing out the free cheesecake. And before you leave, if you'd like a $2 off coupon, it's good for a week to get a drink at Urban Lodge. I'll have those for you. So our performer tonight is a multi-award winning magician who's performed all over the country, including New York, Chicago, and Las Vegas, two-time TED Talk performer, and has over 800,000 followers on social media. Please welcome Kody Hildebrand.
Evening. How are we doing tonight?
Great.
Oh, fantastic. Now, before I actually begin the show, I just wanted to first off start by saying thank you all very much for being here. This really does mean a lot to me personally. This is my final show of the year, so thank you all very much for being here and celebrating that moment here. Now, normally when it comes to magic, there is a very big rule that you never perform the same trick twice. Magicians will tell you that once is a trick and twice is a lesson. So, with your kind permission, I'd like to start this show by performing the same trick 3 times. And to be more precise, I'd actually going to be performing the exact same trick 3 different ways. Magic in and of itself is like any other kind of art form, like music, dance, and theater, where it'll have its own styles, its own genres, and this is no exception. This is going to be a brief demonstration of what you can see anywhere around the world from a deck of cards. Now, the idea comes from being able to prove the idea that like cards are always attracted to one another, right? They say like works very well with like. So, for example, if I was to try this in a very flashy style you might have seen done from like back in the 1970s, you would have one card there, one there, one there, and one there. And just to check our progress, I just want to see how we're doing. Oh, thank God. Okay.
I was impressed with the flip.
Most people usually are. Now, the next way that we're going to do this, you'd be a little bit more familiarized by this if it were to be done overseas, maybe across the pond in England, Europe, or maybe, say, elsewhere. That'll be the first one. That's number 1. Number 2, watch very closely. It happens on 3. You go 1, 2, and 3. That'll be number 2. Number 3 is a little bit more shy than the other one, so you do have to give it a little bit of an extra push. Oh, that's not number 3. That was just me being a silly goose. That's number 3 right there. And then, of course, number 4 is no different than the others. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That should be all 4 aces once again. Now, the final way that I want to try to do this is something that you would see more in a, say, a drawing room like this back in the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s, which, in my opinion, was probably one of the greatest eras of magic in general. And the way you would see this done is you would take 12 cards, so 3, 6, 9, and then 12, and then simply place 3 cards on top of each ace. So, for example, that would be 1, 2, and 3 placed right on top of the ace of spades. 1, 2, and 3 cards on top of the ace of hearts. Next 3 cards would go onto the ace of clubs, and then by no means any least important than any of the other ones, they would go onto the ace of diamonds. And we can start over here at the ace of hearts. It's a very simple idea where you would take each ace, allow you guys to see them for just a moment. That's the ace right there. But a little shake and a little snap like so will actually cause that first ace to actually vanish from all of its compatriots, leaving us in the dust and just going away for a brief moment. The ace of clubs, I know, suddenly he's good, right? The ace of clubs is no different, although it tends to tease its friends a little bit more. Watch very closely as it kind of gives a little bit of a rub and a tug, and that will actually cause that ace to completely vanish as well, leaving its other friends as well. The ace of diamonds, however, is the most promiscuous in any form. You leave it in a crowd, I'm sure many of you would know the old saying when it comes to magic, now you see it, and of course with a snap, now you do not. But I did state at the beginning of this that many times cards of like values or of like anything were going to be attracted to one another. And I left these 3 cards on top of the ace of spades the entire time, haven't touched them, haven't gone near them. However, if that theory is true, then you'll be able to see that this is in fact going to be 1, 2, 3. right. Now, all of that having been said, now that I've actually proven myself to all of you, now that we've also established that my dad's not here, I'd actually like to invite two people to please join me up here just to keep me honest for the duration of this part. Yes, my dear in the back, and then he's pointing at you, so sir. No,
Our last
okay.
day. It's going to be our last day.
I was going to bring him up because he wanted to point at you. Please give them both a round of applause. Please, please, please. Thank you very much. What's your name?
I'm Caitlin.
Caitlin, I'll be very gentle. Very nice to meet you, Caitlin. And your name, my dear?
Lisa.
Lisa, very nice to meet you as well. All right, ladies, we are going to have a little bit more fun now. Do either of you play cards at all?
Of course not.
Of course not. How about you?
A little bit.
Little bit. Okay, you're smarter. Now, not to say anything, it's just that most of the time if you were to play against anybody, particularly like myself, you're going to be in for a very rough night, so to speak. And I do actually want to talk about that for just a minute because one of my biggest fascinations has always been the ideology of cheating at cards, right? Rigging a game, fixing a deck. I'm sure many of you have heard the term like stacking the deck or something along those lines, right? I wanted to try to find a way to make it a little bit more interesting, so I found the best way to do that would actually be by showing you all what would widely be considered an exercise that most card cheats would use to kind of get their hands calibrated, right? Now, that's going to be 3 cards right there. I think we're just going to need 1 more right there for you. Would you mind just checking our progress? I just want to see how we're doing so far. And you can show everyone else the 4 aces as well. That would make me very happy. Good. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, like I said, you can turn them face up. It's not a secret. Yeah. Like I don't know what I gave you. All right. So this is, like I said, this is going to be a gambler's exercise where before a game would even begin, the card sheet would actually start by isolating the cards into separate packs, 4 to be precise, 1 for each ace. And it would look a little something. This is more or less just the lull of the show. But this is more to show you that these guys are in fact going to be 100% separated at the very beginning, and that is very important, right?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to cheating at cards, many card cheats over the years would use a series of different things to help them along the way, right? Most people would be familiar with, like, just say bending a corner and just leaving that like that, and then once they get the cards where they need, they would just smooth out that bent corner, and no one would be the wiser. Once they started to get a little smarter, people started to catch on to that, then they started to do something different where they would shave the edge of the card by, say, 1 millimeter, which they could then give the cards to their opponent, and their opponent wouldn't be any intuitive at all to that, and they would just cut the cards for them directly where they needed to. Inversely, card cheats would also have cards that would protrude by 1 millimeter, which, once the cards have been dealt out, is a very subtle thing that most people aren't really going to pick up on. And the other thing, and I really honestly shouldn't be telling you this, but I like you both. So, many card cheats would use something called a break. It doesn't look like much in the front, but in the back you can actually see there's a very large gap in the back of the cards where the card cheat could simply just take his thumb, lift up to the break, and simply just cut the cards where he needs to, right? And no one would be the wiser to that. Now, without any of that happening and all 4 of these aces spread out into different spots in the deck, it would be a real damn shame if I did something like this. Especially considering the fact that once I dribble through the cards, right, there's no possible way that I can catch a break on any of these cards. And I'll even let you ladies see as well, there's going to be no bent corners, no protrusions, no cards sticking out by 1 millimeter, no cards shaved off by 1 millimeter, right? And obviously I'm not holding any spots with my hands right now. So, what are you looking for? Something is going to happen. You're out of that. I don't know how to tell you this, but a whole lot of something is going to be happening. So the question comes down to how do you get the cards back into your control if you're going to cheat? And the honest answer is you have to shuffle the cards. And going around the world, there's a series of different ways that you can do this. Most people, when they play at home, are more familiar with something like this. It's called an overhand shuffle. It's a very common thing to do. If you play in cities like Las Vegas or Atlantic City, they might shuffle the cards in a more flashy manner, something that might look a little something like this. I want to make sure this is nice and perfect. And then you close it off with a little bridge, right? But that's just a riffle shuffle for those that aren't familiar with like any other fancy terms. Do either of you play casinos by chance?
No.
Smart. When you play casinos, house rules are going to dictate that you must shuffle the cards face down on the table like this. Reason for that is because I could peek at the cards, you could peek at the cards. This is just a very nice way to prevent any form of cheating from happening or so I've been told. Because you would shuffle the cards like so, and I can even allow you both to see, and everyone else that's watching, that that's about as fair as I can possibly make it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right.
That's pretty good.
And I'll tell you what, just so that way there's no doubt in anyone's minds, would you mind taking one hand, put it right here? And would you mind taking one hand, put it right here?
I do like that.
Yeah, and just push the cards together. Beautiful. Let's not push them off the table. Just go ahead, go all the way down one. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, this is fun. This is interactive.
Nailed it.
This is sensory time. Yeah.
Someone take a picture.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Now, the only other way that I'm going to show you, this was an actual preventative measure that a lot of card sheets would use, or people that would host games, in more shady things like backroom games and pool halls way back in the day, or maybe in just a home game. This had a number of different names or monikers where they would call it, say, Anaconda style or Alaskan poker. I call it annoying because they would shuffle the cards half face up into half face down, and my OCD does not allow that. So if I were to shuffle the cards like this, it would really put a big damper on the whole thing, especially once you give the cards a couple of extra cuts, making sure that everything truly is nice and well mixed. Now, I will also say that if I do show everyone here the current state of the cards, that right there, with respect, pisses me off, right? But it is this chaos and this lack of structure that is going to be very, very important. Because even after I cut the cards again, you're going to see that some of them are going to run front to back.
Yes.
Others are going to run, say, back to front, which means by default the rest of these cards are going to run, say, front to front, back to back. It's just a very jumbled up mess. However, at this point right now, I can actually make 3 statements with the utmost certainty. And the first being that while all 4 of those aces were separated at the very beginning of this, they're all side by side, one next to the other.
Of course they are.
Of course they are, right? You're gonna be so mad. The second thing is that I put those aces into the exact center of the deck. And then the third thing is to make it easier for both of you and everyone else here to see, is that I actually straightened out every other card in the deck
No,
except
like,
for the
how do you do
Ta-da! Alright.
You guys didn't see that?
I'm watching right away.
Oh, you're gonna miss it. Alright, so now moving on, we're gonna keep the aces out for just a moment. I wanted to share something else that a lot of card sheets would do, something that I'm sure many of you in this room should be familiar with. It's a little technique known as palming. Palming is a technique that a lot of magicians would use where they would keep a card held in their hand, and with a very natural look, it would look like there's nothing there, right? However, you would palm a card to simply say maybe like cut the cards like so, and then, you know, do whatever motion you have to, and then just show, oh, there it was on top all along, right? That's exactly what I needed. Magicians later, as time progressed, started to create a little bit more of an intriguing way, so to speak, on how to palm things, and that would be using a technique known as an invisible palm. Now, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. If you take 4 aces like so, right, and you both examine these aces, right, there was nothing strange about them, right? Calm down. All I would do is I would place 1 ace onto the table, leave 3 over here, right? I would come over. Now, most people would see me like physically palm the card. However, if I wanted to do it invisibly, I would palm the card off. It looks like a palm. It feels like a palm. But if you actually place it on the table, you're going to then see that that is now, in fact, a second card on the table, right? That leaves me with 2 aces over here and 2 aces over here. And you never will, I promise. All right. Now, if we were to do this again, right, it's a very simple thing, right? You would simply take 1 card down, you take the next one, place it right onto the table. I would pretty much just try to get this just a little bit nicer, right? You come over, you palm the card off. It looks like a palm, it feels like a palm. But if you were to set it down onto the table, you're going to see then that there is now, in fact, 3 cards there. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3.
How?
Now,
You're cheating.
yeah. The magician's shit. No, respectfully, I say this with so much respect. No shit. All right, so now if I wanted to do this one more time, right? That's going to be all 4 of these aces, right? I can try this one more time. Now this is where it gets a lot harder because now there's going to be 4 cards. So that would be 1, 2. I place the 3rd one down with the rest, right? It's going to be 3 right there, and then the last one I save right on top. I come over, I palm it off. It looks like a palm. It feels like a palm. But as soon as you bring it down, and I want you to see too, before I even lift up my hand, the top card, next top card, that is not an ace at all, because I did make sure that that ace goes onto the table right there, and that will be all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That is so good. So good.
Now, just to wrap this up, after a very long day of playing cards, cheating, winning, and making everybody wonder why I don't have friends, there eventually came a method, or a game rather, most of us should be familiar with. You just cut the card, highest card wins, right? They would play that for double or nothing. We just call it high card, low card, right? Very simple thing. So, for example, if I were to cut the cards and I cut to an 8, right, that would be mine. And then let's say you were to cut the cards as well. If you were to just lift up a portion for me really quick, and you cut to, let's see what it is. That is an 8. Okay, that's fine. If there was a tie, we would just go to the next one down. That would be a 2, which doesn't really leave a whole lot of room for you to win, and I would go home very happy. Now, I know. Now, eventually, card cheats wanted to make sure that they could ensure themselves a win when they played this, so they implemented a new technique. It took a very long time to actually get right. It was something known as a dead cut. Now, a dead cut would happen after you shuffle the cards, gave them a quick little cut like so, and all you would need is to simply reach in with one hand into the deck, and that should allow you to be able to cut exactly to one of those 4 aces. Now, I'll do that again just for those that are wondering, right? You're not gonna like this. I'll even give the cards a couple of cuts. So I just want to keep myself as fair as I possibly can here, just to ease everyone's peace of mind. You simply reach in with your hand, you cut to one of the cards, and that should be one of the other 4 aces, right? Now, I also want to point out too, 1 card too few or even 1 card too many, I would have missed that ace, right? And as far as, you know, statistics and probability go, which I'm sure we are all very good at math in this room, right? Everyone loves math. Not everyone. That's fine. I'll be the only autistic one in the room. As statistics and probability would tell you, the more aces that I pull out, now the harder it is for me to do. This is also something with enough practice that you can do left-handed. That's just in case someone breaks my right thumb. So let's just see if I can give it a shot really quick. Just a quick second.
Stop.
It's like Vegas, right? And of course, 1 too few, 1 too many, I would have missed that card. Now, the last one is going to be a little bit trickier to do. However, we have pulled 3 aces out so far. That's going to leave us with 49 cards left in the deck. And I'll tell you what, this is entirely up to you. A number 1 through 49.
26.
26. Okay. You sure?
Mm-hmm.
All right. No, that's fine. 26. No, that's fine. That's fine. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26 should be.
Wow.
26 cards.
Right. You both have been a delight. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, just to kind of wrap up this brief portion, this brief little thing about cards and gambling and everything like that, many years have gone by where a lot of people see magicians and gamblers as the same person, right? People hear, like, I go around the country, the world, and I tell people, like, oh, I'm a magician, and they're like, one of 2 things. It's like, oh, my grandkids will love you, which, no the fuck they won't. Or number 2, they say, oh, I'm never playing cards with you ever because you're just gonna cheat, right? Which, correct, but you don't gotta say it like that. Now, over the years though, magicians and gamblers have been confused for one another, and I will say the biggest difference between the 2 of us is realistically what happens if, you know, one of us gets caught. So, for example, if I get caught cheating or doing something that I wasn't supposed to, right, like if either of these young ladies saw me doing something that they shouldn't, the worst that possibly could have happened would be all of you leave and I'm just left with an empty house, right? However, if a gambler gets caught cheating and they swindle the wrong person, they could end up with broken kneecaps, broken arms, or if they really angered the wrong person, they could lose their life, right? Now, there once was a gambler and a magician who sat down at a table, something like very similar to this, and they wanted to finally settle everything. They wanted to find out who the better card handler was. So the gambler went first, and he was doing a whole bunch of things with the cards. You know, he was making it look very flashy, very stylish, and very, very exciting. Magician says, you know, oh, that's great, I like that a lot, but I want to make this a little bit more interesting for you. So I would like to bet, say, $5,000 that I can deal any four of a kind that I like. Any four of a kind at all. So the gambler said, you know what? I like that. I'll take you up on that. So the magician takes the cards, gives him a quick little cut, looks at the top card just to see what he was dealing with, and it was a king. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So he set that king onto the table, covered it ever so slightly with the box, just making sure that there was no tampering with the cards whatsoever. Gave the cards a couple of cuts and even a couple more just to make sure that the deck was well and truly mixed. Snapped his fingers, looked at the top card, and with a little bit of luck, it was another king. Set that king down onto the table with its brother, covered them both ever so slightly, gave the cards a couple more cuts and a few more after that, just once again to make sure that everything was well and truly mixed. Snapped his fingers again, looked at the top card. I'll give you all one chance to guess what it was. If you said a king, you're correct. He placed that card onto the table as well. And at this point, the gambler is getting very nervous, very worried, right? 3 kings down, 1 more, he's about to lose a whole lot of money, right? That's $10,000 he's about to lose. So what he did was considered to be completely unprecedented, where he reached across the table and took the cards right out of his hands. And he began to shuffle the cards himself. He shuffled them according to true casino procedure, which was 3 shuffles, and then also following it up with a cut, so that's going to be 2 right there. And then once he was 100% content with everything, he also even followed up with like a nice little wash as well. I'm sure many of you have seen this before as well. This is a very standard way to shuffle cards at casinos. I hate this, but that's also fine. But once he was done with that, he also took the cards and he also made sure that he was able to cut them as well. And just make sure that this is all nice and pretty for all of you because, you know, aesthetics are very important. This is the lull of the show. Gave the cards 1 cut, handed them over to the magician and said, do your thing. Magician said, you got it, snapped his fingers and looked at that 4th and final king
way.
No.
right there.
Stop
Oh.
it.
Wait, that's not all.
That's
What?
not a king.
That's not a king?
No. Kings. Oh, man. I guarantee it's not a
So, this looks bad. If you give me just a moment, I'm so sorry. This is not part of the show. Just give me a brief moment to improv here. So the gambler sees the ace, he gets excited, he reaches for the money in the pot, and the magician says, hold on a moment, what are you doing? And the gambler says, well, it's obvious to me you just lost. There's 3 kings on the table and ace in your hand, that's not your 4 of a kind. You didn't get your 4 kings. And the magician said, true, but if you remember, the bet wasn't 4 kings, the bet was any 4 of a kind that I wanted.
Oh.
Now, I do have an ace in my hand, sure, but if I just kind of wave it over those 3 kings right
Stop
there,
it. Stop
you should
it.
then start to see that that's
Stop
1,
No way.
2,
No.
and the magician went home a very happy. You all thought I messed up.
Well, I'm glad I didn't bet.
Honestly. Now, this is a very fun part of the show. This is a very quick portion of the show as well, I'll admit. But it's just a nice way to get everybody warmed up and just excited for the rest of what's to come. So, with your kind permission, what I'd like to do is actually step away from the cards for just a brief moment and finish this off with another piece of magic that is meant for a very intimate audience like this. And before I go any further, I just want to point out, I found this trick maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And once you get into magic, right, a lot of the time you watch it and it loses its luster for you. When you first get into magic, or even before you get into it, you get that like brief moment where you feel like a kid again, right? Like you get that like Disney wonder that like for just a second, like it's real. This, while I was knee deep in magic already, I knew so much about a lot of things. This was that one trick that actually brought that sense of wonder back for myself. And with your kind permission, I'd like to end this first portion of the show by sharing that all with you as well. Now, that's not necessary. This is a very, very simple trick using 3 props, or if you want to count the 4 things on the table as the same thing. The first are going to be 4 US half dollars. The next is going to be a magic wand. Everyone knows a magic wand. This is mine. I just like some kind of stereotype. You're also going to need a leather cylinder. Now the cylinder is just a piece of leather that I was able to get from my father-in-law. He is a leathersmith for Renaissance fairs, and I explained to him that I was about to do this and this is something that I needed, so I was like, can I just have some scraps? He's like, sure. I'm like, great. So the cork is going to go inside of the leather cylinder. Now, just to show you that gravity does work, it just goes right in, comes right out, right? The cylinder is going to provide a little bit of cover and a little bit of a shield. I'm going to leave it right in plain sight for all of you to see until the very last moment. And one by one, the idea is to take each of these coins, make them vanish, and then make them reappear inside of the cylinder. However, because, number one, this table is very padded, and also because we're leaving the cork underneath the cylinder the entire time, it's going to serve as a bit of a muffler for the sound, right? So it's going to be very difficult for you all to hear these things. Now, all I would do is I would start by taking the first coin. One by one, I would place them onto the table, so that would be 1 here. I'll take the next one, I would place it right onto the table here, so that's 2, 3. The last one goes into my hand. Take the wand, give it a little tap, a little blow, and that should actually cause that first coin to completely melt, vanishing, going inside of the cylinder. Now, the next one is going to be a little bit different than the last. We're going to place that one into the hand. We're also going to spread these guys out. I just want to make sure these are nice and pretty for all of you. Excellent. You simply grab onto the coin, slide it over, give it a little poke with the wand. Oops, sorry, wrong side. There it is. And that should also cause that coin to completely melt, joining its friends over there, leaving us now with 2. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, right? You take the first coin, place it into your hand. You also take the other one, drop that right in. Place 1 coin down, give a little tap, a little blow, and that should also cause that third coin to completely vanish, now leaving us with 1 and 1 alone. Now, the last coin is probably the most difficult to do. However, with enough time and enough practice, you can try to do this one-handed, and I do like to show off, so please bear with me here. That should be 1, 2. I didn't do it yet. There's just 1 gasp, right? That's 3, right? That should completely vanish, right? Leaving us with absolutely nothing. But I did say that they were going to reappear inside of the cylinder. The only thing that I failed to mention is that they tend to end up underneath that little piece of cork at the very beginning. Now, we can do this again, but this time we can do it in reverse. This time we take the cylinder, place it right on top. I'll leave the cork over here for just a moment, and I'll even cover the coins with the cylinder with the wand. I don't even want to touch this with my hand at all. 2, there we go, perfect. You start by taking the first coin, take this little cork right here. A quick little pass will actually change it into that first coin. Now, that might be 1, this also might be 2, but also don't blink because that does get you number 3. So that would be 1, 2, 3, and then of course you need number 4, which I keep over here. The cork, for those that are paying attention, the cork is gone. I don't have the cork anymore. And where does the cork go? Well, it only has 1 place that it can go, which is right back underneath that little leather. Thank you very